Video game journalism is dead. It is the end of an era, fellas, and I'm here to document it. So a few days ago, Wired released their review of the new Hogwarts Legacy. As you probably already know, this game has been getting glowing reviews with a 9.1 user score on Metacritic. So it was shocking for me and literally most of the world when Wired gave the game an astounding 1 out of 10. As I'm recording this, I haven't yet read the article, so I thought, why not both of us take a look-see at what I expect to be a reasonable and well-formulated review.
Pablo.
Before we do that though, I wanted to quickly talk about the person who wrote this review. The person in question, the woman of the hour, is Jaina Gray. She's written such bangers as the best coffee grinders to amp up your morning brew, the best mouse and mouse pads for every kind of gamer, and a personal favorite of mine, heat up the holidays with the best sexy gifts for lovers. That one is truly a Wired classic. Okay, that's all I wanted to show you guys. Now let's get on with the main show. The article starts off strong with the subheading, "The game is mid at best and its real-world harms are impossible to ignore." What you'll find to be very prevalent in this article is how Jaina can't separate the art from the artist. I mean, if you're finding it impossible to ignore J.K. Rowling's tweets whilst you play this game, that's your own personal problem. I think it's extremely unfair to discuss J.K. Rowling in this review because it's actually the developers who made the game, not her. You aren't reviewing the author's actions, you're reviewing this product that doesn't make any transphobic comments from what I've played so far. I'm sure I'll be repeating that point many times in this video, so let's just continue. Moving along, it says here that the story is rooted in anti-Semitic tropes. I don't know what the f that means, so we'll come back to that later if we end up getting a reason for this. Jaina also comments on how dated the game feels, from the graphics to the gameplay. I'm pulling up some of the best examples of this right here. I mean, god, does this game look like it's from the PS3 era. Actually, it looks more like a PS2 game alongside GTA San Andreas and Shadow of the Colossus. It doesn't stay true to the established lore. Yes, it doesn't, and I'm certain the developers have many reasons for that, but I will say that they did a damn good job of referencing both the films and books many times. As for one of the reasons why they didn't fully stick to the lore, I'm guessing it's because it's a video game and they had to find a way to create their own narrative and gameplay. I mean, imagine if students had a curfew in the game. Sure, that'd be more immersive and some people may find that cooler, but 90% of people don't want to sneak out of their dorms every time there's a nighttime mission. Moving along to the actual beginning of the article, Jaina basically talks about how this review will take a lot out of both of us, which she's certainly correct about. I'm already tired of reading this mess, as I'm sure you are as well, but we have to keep trudging along to get to the bottom of this 1 out of 10 review score. And here we go again. Jaina talks about how everything Wizarding World related is owned by J.K. Rowling and moves on to say, this is important because she's always been inseparable from her work. Come on, this is really pushing it because whilst I've been aware of what Rowling has said before, I don't watch a Harry Potter film and think,
oh god, I'm turning transphobic by the minute.
Just because Rowling has said stuff online. I'm not defending Rowling, I'm actually not thinking about her at all whilst I consume Wizarding World media. If we boycotted every product that was made unethically or by an unethical person, we'd probably still be living in caves and hunting animals with bows and spears like some Far Cry Primal shit. I also like how the article has some really corny subheadings such as unforgivable curses and when home isn't home anymore. I've got an absolute banger to read out to you guys here. The longer I spent in this version of Hogwarts, the more I could feel a tangible absence. There's definitely something missing. I thought maybe it was the lackluster art direction, the one-dimensional characters that feel like store-brand versions of the ones we know and love, or even the conspicuous lack of the iconic John Williams score. But there's a bigger absence here. There's a hole where this game's heart should be. You can't see it at first. You have to really feel around its edges. Stop looking for what is there and start noticing what isn't. There's no sense of place. The world is lifeless. Character models and facial animations are present, but somehow absent. The characters are animated, but they certainly don't feel alive. I know that was a lot to take in, so let's go back over that monstrosity, shall we?
No way!
Jaina says that there's definitely something missing. I don't think you can rationally blame the developers for some empty feeling in your heart. They did an amazing job with the world, gameplay, characters, and narrative. Here we go, another mention of the lackluster art direction. I honestly don't understand what game Jaina has been playing because it isn't Hogwarts Legacy. At this point, I'm starting to believe she accidentally bought Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone for the Game Boy Advance. She also states that the characters are one-dimensional, which makes me believe she's writing this review after watching a single trailer for the game. I'm currently on the Sebastian Sallow questline, and it is a blast. I think I'm enjoying that more than the main story because of how interesting Sebastian and his background are. I won't go into spoilers, but Sebastian has a big issue in his family that you have to help him solve, and he's willing to use the dark arts to fix it. It's really cool, it's really interesting, and it is a damn good storyline. He is not a one-dimensional character, I can tell you that much. This part here, however, was really confusing to me. The conspicuous lack of the iconic John Williams score. No one can deny that the films didn't have heat, but I find it hard to see that the lack of score is conspicuous. The developers have come up with an entirely new soundtrack that has the original Harry Potter feeling, but is also fresh and unique to this game. Oh, and here we go, an explanation for the anti-Semitism mentioned at the start. A global cabal is trying to end slavery, but that's bad because the slaves like being slaves. So I'm starting to see an issue here. I've had my eyes open to the problem of this article, the root, the core of the issue. The writer hasn't actually played the game. Without spoiling too much, the general plot of the game is that a goblin called Ranrock is plotting something that can potentially lead to a war. But goblins aren't slaves, not in the films, the books, or this game. That would be house elves. Although Jaina is thinking outside the box, I think she's really onto something here. I think if we get a sequel for this game, it would be cool to see an army of house elves try to end their enslavement. Oh, and the army could be led by Dobby, which would be pretty sick. I still don't see where the anti-Semitism comes in though. I did see a group of people online that believe the wizarding world is anti-Semitic because they view the goblins as Jewish people. Honestly, I don't have a clue where they're getting that. Maybe I'm missing something, but I'm not even gonna go into that. And now we come to the end of the review. Jaina is thankful that she can forget about Harry Potter and Hogwarts because apparently the game was so tragically bad that she's lost all love for the world. The magic is gone and won't ever return. Wow, I think I'm tearing up a little. That is so beautiful, so poetic. Thank you for wasting 5 minutes of my time, Jaina. Your hot pile of garbage made me realize that modern day game critics can't be trusted and that we should look to the community, to the independent YouTubers who review games, not to these big organizations that have an agenda to share or whatever. I'm sure you've noticed that this review was barely a review for Hogwarts Legacy. It doesn't really talk about the gameplay, the combat, the exploration, or any of that. Jaina, if you're watching this, I'd recommend you to stick to the toys and coffee makers because you have zero ability to create a video game review. See ya.